And we're trying again to pin down our radical thinker for the morning. Steve Farber is one of the speakers who will be joining us at Leaders in Dubai later in this year. He's president of Extreme Leadership Incorporated, and he's going to be talking in Dubai at Leaders in Dubai about extreme leadership in difficult times. Steve, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Brandon. Glad we can make it work this time.
Yeah, after several attempts here on the Business Breakfast, we do actually have you on the line from California. Tell us, what is extreme leadership, Steve?
Well, extreme leadership is really just my way of saying real leadership, the real deal, because, we've gotten to the point, I think we use the word leadership a little too loosely. We use it as a label, we use it as a title that we tend to slap on ourselves and on other people without really giving a lot of thought to what it really is. And if you really look at it, leadership by its nature is an extreme act because it's about the act of transformation in some way or another, on some level or another. So extreme leadership is the real deal. It's somebody who really takes on a cause, takes on an idea, takes on a project, takes on a business in order to really change the nature of things for the better.
Now, what is your message going to be at the Leaders event this year?
Well, Well, I hope to, because I'm doing two things. I'm doing a master class that's going to be a little bit longer, so we'll have a chance to go into some depth on this, to really do an exploration of what leadership is in its true essence. And so we'll explore the aspect. It's a very personal, actually, kind of approach to really look at the motivation behind the leadership act that you take on. Why is it important to you? What are you trying to accomplish? And then to really expand the scope of it to where we're really thinking about not just accomplishing something, but doing it in a way that's really going to change some piece of the world, whether it's the world of the business, your customer, the marketplace, for the better.
Well, I've been to some of the leaders' meetings in the UAE before and heard some inspiring speeches from the likes of Bill Clinton, Benazir Bhutto, Mohammed Al-Abbar, Mohammed Ghagawi, Richard Branson, etc. Now, they're inspiring enough to think about in the car on the way home, and but the next day or two, as the woes of the world hit you in the face, the inspiration fades somewhat and life gets back to normal.
Yeah.
What do you see as the real point of these sessions? What should we be taking away?
Yeah, I think inspiration is a good thing, certainly, but it's like you said, it doesn't do us a lot of good if we don't turn it into something dynamic and something that actually has an effect. So the work that I've been doing over the last 20 years is really an in-depth exploration as to what leaders do, and leaders have to be inspired, but what a true leader does is take that inspiration and turn it into a form of energy that really is a very tangible, concrete thing. So my hope is that I certainly don't want people to be inspired. Don't get me wrong, but I want to, at the very least, in the time that I have with folks, to instill a more audacious, a more provocative way of thinking about what their role as a leader is and what that entails and what the responsibilities are, in the hopes that we'll at least try to do a couple of things a little bit differently in the very near future. And if we get some kind of momentum going, there's a chance that we can really build on it, as opposed to just having that nice, warm, toasty feeling, which, like you said, feels good, but doesn't help us to do anything extraordinary.
Steve, can you actually teach someone to be a good leader? I mean, presumably the personality qualities that a good leader needs, someone's born with, they're not made.
Yeah, that's kind of the age-old question here. Leaders born or are they made? And I think the simple answer to that question is yes. Let me put it this way: I've never yet met a leader that's not born. So obviously that's a prerequisite to this whole thing. But as to the question, can a leader be made? I think absolutely yes. Now, that's not to say, there are some people, just like anything else, there are some people that are more naturally inclined to leadership. I think there is such a thing as a natural-born leader, but that doesn't mean that for the rest of us there's no hope. So if you have the desire and the intent and the understanding of what it entails, and then you're able to challenge yourself to take the right steps, get the right coaching, get the right kind of feedback, I think that anybody that puts attention on it can get better. Does it all mean that does it mean that we all have that potential to be kind of a world life-changing leader in the most extreme sense of the word? No, I don't think so. But I think everybody, every one of us, has the potential to get much better at our leadership approach than we are today.
Well, I mean, you say that executive teams will not respond to empty rhetoric but need proof of managers' words through action. In other words, the impact of significant, meaningful and dramatic behaviour. Do we really want dramatic at a time when a steady and calm hand on the tiller is more reassuring?
Well, I think dramatic is, by definition, it's a dramatic word. All I mean by that is, it's very easy, and we do this, business people do this all the time. It's very easy to adopt the latest, greatest management buzzword or catchphrase, right? I mean, we've seen it. We see them come and go all the time. We talk about reengineering, and we talked about empowerment, and we talked about shifting paradigms and thinking outside the box, blah, blah, blah. Leadership has become another one of those buzzwords. So all I'm saying is that you can't expect, for one thing, that people will follow you just because you hold a position of authority. They'll do what you tell them to do if you're the boss, for example. But if we're really trying to inspire commitment in people, where they bring themselves fully to bear on the challenges that we have, and they're fully engaged in the work that we're doing, and they're really trying to get ahead of the curve and be more competitive and create an organization that's truly going to be a leader in its field, it's not enough just to adopt the rhetoric and say, I'm a leader and you're my team. We've got to prove that we're trustworthy, we've got to prove that we're going someplace extraordinary, and we've got to essentially hold ourselves accountable to make sure that our words and our actions line up. So if a calm hand on the, on the wheel is what's required, that's fine. But what I'm saying is the hand has to be on the wheel. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't just say, I have a calm hand on the wheel. It actually has to be there.
Well, I was going to say, it sounds good on paper, but given what's happened in the last couple of years, there'll be a lot of cynicism and reluctance towards new management methods. And after all, it was things that we didn't understand that got us into trouble in the first place. Do you agree, or are you the perennial optimist?
I am a bit of, here's the thing. I think it's true that I am a bit of a perennial optimist. I admit to that. But I think it's also true that I'm about as pragmatic as they get. So I think I have enough of a dose of the cynic in me that I want to see proof, right? I've seen a lot of people over my couple of decades of doing leadership consulting and coaching and facilitating in just about every kind of company you can imagine. I've seen a lot of people that are really extraordinary at saying all the right things and talking a good game. And I've seen people that just go about the work of doing great things, and that's the difference, right? So I'm an optimist in the sense that I believe that all of us have the capacity, but I'm not an idealist in the sense that I'm going to be, snowed by hearing the right choice of words from somebody. So my hope is that in the time that I have to spend with people at the conference, that I can really get them to look authentically and honestly and critically at their own motivation, at their own reason for doing the work that they're doing, and to really begin to ask the question in an honest way, what is it that we're trying to accomplish together, and then go about the work of making it happen, and not just, assuming the position, as it were.
Well, just before we go to a break, you're going to be sharing this event in Dubai, the Leaders in Dubai, with Al Gore and Desmond Tutu. Who do you admire the most? Who do you admire the most of those two?
And I admit it's an intimidating ticket to share, no doubt.
Who do you admire? Who do you admire of those two most?
Well, I really I admire them both, obviously for different reasons. But Al Gore, I have a great deal of admiration for, because here's a guy that got very clear. As he rose through the political world, he got very clear about the cause, climate change and so forth, the cause that he passionately believed in. And here's a guy whose primary criticism, when he was a political candidate, he was a candidate for president here in the U.S., was that he was kind of dry, and his communication style wasn't very inspiring. But now, I mean, to see the transformation in him, because he's taken on a cause that's so important for all of us, and it's kind of apolitical in its nature, and you feel the authenticity in it. That's a tremendous leadership lesson for all of us, because it shows the power of really getting clear on and focusing on something that you're truly passionate about, and that you want to take on in order to change things for the better, for all of our benefit, for all of your constituents' benefit.
Steve Farber, radical thinker and president of Extreme Leadership Incorporated, who will be joining us at Leaders in Dubai later this year. Thanks for your time this morning.
My pleasure.